In a recent interview, Joe Biden said that he still thinks he would have beaten Donald Trump if he had ran for president. And the initial reaction you're going to have is, this guy's even further off his rocker than I thought. But it's actually not as crazy a supposition as you might think. Let's kind of take a step back. Now, the first thing you have to do is really ask yourself the question: would Biden have been a stronger candidate than Kamala? Forget how good you think he is or isn't. The question is, would more people have voted for him than voted for Kamala Harris? If the answer to that question is yes, well, then what he's saying isn't entirely out of left field. First things first, Biden dropped out of the race because he had a horrible first debate, the worst first debate in history. Problem for him, but question is, if he had a second debate, could he have done any worse than he did in that first one? Probably not. So do you think he would have landed in a better spot than Kamala was? I mean, we did at least have some track record with Biden, nothing with Kamala except a few months of PR. If Biden was a better candidate than Kamala, here's what happens. A couple of states that were very close may have tipped to Joe Biden's side. Kamala lost Michigan by about 30,000 votes. That's a pretty tight margin. If Biden was going to do better in Michigan than she was, that might be a state that he won. The other state that's tight is Wisconsin. Kamala lost that by about 80,000 votes, a tight margin for that state. So again, if Biden would have been a better candidate, which has nothing to do with his personality and everything to do with his appeal, that's another state he would have won. But here's where everything would get sticky for him, and this is really the challenge to his claim. Those two states aren't enough for him to win the election, but those two states were close. He'd need another swing state and a big one like Pennsylvania to be able to pull it off. Kamala lost Pennsylvania by 120,000 votes. Now, maybe Biden could have done better there. Frankly, I think Biden would have done better in Pennsylvania. But I don't think that he had enough appeal to overcome Trump winning. That's where things break down. If Biden won Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin, then yes, he'd have 270 electoral votes and he would win. I don't think he could take Pennsylvania, but I don't know about the others. It really depends on a lot of if this, then that, and what about the other thing types of events that we can't predict. So, when you hear him talk about his regrets, you hear him talk about how he thinks he may have won, it's actually not that far-fetched.